Good morning, retail traders. This is a sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And, well, we've got a lot of stuff in the past now. The Feds came out and made his point. He definitely relaxed. People were kind of shook up that we're not getting that excitement about the interest rate cuts sooner or later. And so the market doesn't care. Market doesn't care as long as they don't raise the rates. We're in a bull market. So these pullbacks of any are a good correction. It's a good trend. This could be a good start to maybe a finish of a little pullback. We've had a 3-day weekend, a long weekend. Monday's a new day. It's a new week. It's a new month. There's a lot of new things that are going to happen. So can we open the market flat come Monday and then start to build up? Is it going to be a test and wait, see until earnings come out again? Or whatever. I'm kind of in between. I'm going to play defensive. I've got my main tickers, and that's what we're going to go over today. This is the sneaky snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. So here's my watch list. We got no, that's not the one I was going to pull up. We got the Tony and Jim. This is the watch list that I go by. Whoops. That I've done here lately. Some of my top stocks that I'm adding and subtracting some, and kind of starting with a smaller list for a friend of mine, and we've been following this list, and we're going to kind of walk through all these. I'm going to clean these trades up, make the charts look clean. We're going to be working off the 20-day 1-hour time frame. So let's clean these up. We got the moving averages here. We have the 200 SMA, and the other three are EMAs. We have the 63, the 21, and the 9. And right now we're bullish. We're kind of hit a double top with a higher high. Double top with a higher high. So this thing can come back down and have a 1, 2, 3 right here off this trend line and be a solid support this week. Now, mind you, we're working the 1-hour time frame. So I'm going to take that body right there, and I'm going to say we'll try to hold 521 and see what that does. That'll give us a 1, 2, 3 setup, which is more or less a pivot point practically here in this here flag, in this here Darvis box that we've had. We've had an inverse head and shoulders right here, so it can also come back and hit the 200 and be a very strong buy, and that's going to be the SPY. And then of course resistance to break will be the double top up here, and we'll draw that resistance line to kind of reinsure that tweezer top. They're at 524.13. If we build upon that, then that becomes our new support. For right now, 521 and 519.74 off the 200 SMA on the 1 hour. And we've got Tesla. Tesla had a pretty good week last week. We did have a nice little breakout for a couple of days, and then she pulled back into the close. We're going to clean this up. This also can come back and touch this 200. There we go. Kind of clean it up so we can see it better. Again, we're just using the 1 hour. We're going to be using the 200 as a pivot point here on the time frame for Tesla. So we're going to see if 172.56, if that holds. That if that does not, then we come back down here to this inverse head and shoulders. Find support at 160. Oh, let me see here. Where are we? Right there. This is kind of downward a little bit. So right around 168 is going to be our support level. And I'll set it right here. Get there a little bit early. Might have to go out and get me a new mouse. So right around 168.50 I got set at 53. It's a pretty good spot. I kind of like that better than I do this lower at 168. And that's for Tesla. That's for the low. I mean, if it gets down and breaks below that 200 on the 1 hour. Then again, resistance this week will be this right shoulder. If we can build upon 188.60 something here. Right there. If we can build upon that, then we'll break out to the double top. Then we got PLTR. I added PLTR for one reason, because I think we're down here at a support level. If you pull up the yearly time frame, or let's pull up the 90-day, we're definitely at a shoulder line off this here head and shoulders. We've touched down. This is the third time, so we'll see if this holds. We've had a pretty good little shakeout here for the last couple of days. Last time we were down here, we had a nice little bounce up. We could find some resistance up right around in here somewhere, right around the 25.34. 25.34 would be the shoulder line. Here's your head. You got your left shoulder, your right shoulder. So this thing can come back down and find resistance at 22, 23 bucks, or it holds 23 and runs up to 25 and breaks that 200 on the 1 hour time frame. We got Apple. Apple also kind of had a little breakout last week, and then we pulled back come Thursday, and then we had Friday off. So Apple's having issues with China. We got a megaphone pattern down here. I mean, I hate to see it go way back down here. We have to hold 170 would be the neckline, the shoulder line of this here head and shoulders. Head and shoulders has been the pattern that I've traded probably 95% of the time this year. Inverse head and shoulders. It's the number one pattern. It can make you a lot of money. Learn how to trade it. Inverse head and shoulders. This is the right shoulder. We come down and hit it again and bounce up and hit the 200 like we did here many a times. And then if that breaks, we've got the head and shoulders up here with the right shoulder right around 176. That's Apple. Now, they're pumping Apple, but Apple also has, a couple roadblocks, and just, it'll bounce. When the market bounces, this will bounce. NVIDIA, a wonderful trade to watch. Right now we're on the 200 and we're seeping down below it. We can come down here for a 1, 2, 3 for a very strong buy at 850 somewhere. Let's jot that down in here so we can get that. Now see, I'm going to show you how to chart this. I don't worry about the wicks. I take the body, the last body of the candle. That's the last one there. And I'll run it up to this body right here. And then when we come down the third time, that'll be the 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of setup we're looking for. And we want to set our alert right above that third. Here, let's look at it this way. So we got a lot of support level somewhere right in here, somewhere. Right here off this here candle. So we're going to set this candle, these two candles. We'll set our alert right there. 170.36. And that's right above the 1, 2, 3. So if NVIDIA pulls back sharply, I think it'll be a very strong buy. Right there. Turn it back up to the 200. If we break the 200, we could probably bring it up here to the shoulder line of a two-headed snake. And you got to be careful about this one, because we're about there. So yeah, I mean, it's a hard resistance, and if we break it, we'll have a 1, 2, 3 triple top. Right about it, 956.84. So I went with the lowest of the double top here, because I want to be able to get out of this trade when it pops, if I decide to get in it, if it breaks that 200. The 200 is the pivot point on the 20-day, 1-hour time frame. If not, she pulls back. I'll buy it at 870 and run it back up to the 200, and then try to break the 200 and run it back up to a triple top. Our resistance to break has two different patterns here. We have a head and shoulders right here. Plus, I just now noticed, we have a little head and shoulder right here. Here's your left shoulder and your right shoulder. So we could easily break and hit that 931 and find resistance. If we break these hard, I mean, we're at a very critical resistance level right now. I mean, it has to break this. I mean, we're so tight with the moving averages is what I'm trying to say. If you bust them, it's an easy shot up because they're so tight. If they weren't so tight, it'd be a different story, but they're so tight. If it breaks the 63, boom, fast to a triple top. That's NVIDIA. I'm liking NVIDIA this week a lot. Amazon, we've called this out last week. We definitely had us a nice little pop on it. She pulled back to a double bottom, a triple bottom, and then Thursday another pop, and now she's pulled back to the 63. So again, the 63 will be support level. If not, she could easily pull back and hit the 200 and then run up and have a double top breakout, triple top, whatever top it is, at 181.17. So we're going to put your support level right here, where I think we've had a few temps, last week, 178.32 around there. And I'm going to set another alert right here on this here peak. There's a couple good spots in here for alerts. So you got all kinds of little triggered spots up here. I mean, this is an active chart. I'm definitely going to be watching Amazon for a knife and then catch a knife. I like this 177 area. Get down in here before you hit this spot right here. If it decides to pull back. But there's a lot of good looking support levels in here. And I just wait to see if we could stop at any of them. Here's another one right here. I really like this spot. I like this spot. I like this spot. I mean, there's just all kinds of them. I like this spot right in here. That's right at the 200. So it's due for a good pullback and bounce off any one of these alerts. This is a nice chart, Amazon. I'll be watching it real close. It's on the hot list. And then we got IWM. This is one that we called out, that I called out a while back, said this thing is way undervalued compared to all the other ones. If you look at the weekly time frame, I mean, this was last year, just a few months ago, and then all of a sudden we were down here at an all-time low, and then bam, we're at resistance. This is a hard resistance. I'd expect it to pull back some and correct and then have a nice bounce, but I don't know. We're definitely at a real solid resistance at 210. This is a pivot point. This is real solid. If we break, we start building up new levels. And that 210 will then become support. So I've called this out at the very bottom. I'm telling you now that we're at a critical resistance. And it'll be, if we break it, it's a meaningful place to be. Some places we just run up because of irrational exuberance. We've definitely had irrational exuberance, but this was way oversold, and it wasn't irrational. Now where we are is rational because we're at a if we break this resistance, it will start to become irrational. but the market's way ahead of that, and it's pulled back. So it could allow this stock to go ahead and break out and find new levels, is what I'm trying to say. We're definitely at a good spot. And I wouldn't want to try to be too brave here. QQQ, irrational exuberance. As long as we hold the 9, that's your buy spot on the weekly. If you're watching it, we pull back and hit the 9, I'd probably take that trade. Google, weekly. We got a double top, almost a triple top, quad top. We have a pretty hard resistance on Google. It's cheap. We had a nice little pop breakout, so it wouldn't mind pulling back to find a support level. I mean, right now, I'm going to say 148.93 is going to be your solid support to keep it bullish. If not, we'll pull back and hit the 9, and the 9 will be a good buy. Is it Google? I mean, we had a good pop. I've called this one out down at the very bottom. I like Google a lot. Let's look at the 20-day. Yeah, pull back to the 200 and respect that. I think you're still in the game. It used it as a pivot point right here, and I think we can commence doing that down here at the 123. We got an inverse head and shoulders right at the 200 SMA. So no lower than that 147 area off the 200 on the 1 hour for Google. I like that a lot. I added DJT to it, Donald J. Trump. Now we did pull back to the 63. I like trades like this. We can pull back more, just the fact that it's got his name on it, and it'll be a good buy later on. But as for now, that 63 on the 1 hour is going to be support, and you can see this break out a little bit. We did kind of create a flag here, and we went down below it, but we held up on the 63 EMA. If that doesn't hold, it'll be a strong buy off the 200 on the 1 hour, and I'd watch it. I'd set my alert off that 200 on the 1 hour. We got Disney. Now Disney, I called Disney out at the very bottom. I've been very bearish on this stock, and I'm made sure that everybody knows it. I even got off Stock Twits, got kicked out of Stock Twits because of it, making fun of Bob Iger. So yeah, this can run more. This is a sympathy play right now. Everybody wants it to go up. The fat cats, everybody. I mean, they've got their money in it. This will be another 100% gainer for all of them when it's all said and done. They're got in cheap. It's not cheap no more. You got to play the pullbacks if there's any. Now I called this at the very bottom down here. I said, man, this thing's cheap. It ain't cheap no more. We just had another flag breakout, so it could easily pull back and hit the 200 off this 1, 2, 3 breakout. Now this is what I talk about. I tried to look for the sweet spot and a baseball bat. Let's say this is a baseball bat. It's just the opposite way, but it's a flag. It's a rising wedge, and you have the third time. So the third time we hit the triple top, if it doesn't break then, the stock becomes very weak. It's not as strong. That's the sweet spot. That's where you want it to move. If it doesn't, then you start going downhill. Your chances of a breakout are less to happen. Same as the bottom. If it doesn't break out on the third bottom, or if it doesn't break out on on the third top, and it comes down and bounces one more time on the third and then breaks out on the fourth, boom. Comes down and hits the fourth and it starts to bounce up, you're still in the game. But if it starts to even threat about going below it, you're going to have a good knife. So Disney I'm very bullish on, but you know, that was at under $100. Now we're at 122. So anywhere around 116, 117.50, I'd set my alert up and try to catch a knife. I'm bullish on Disney, but not at this price. I'd rather buy it at a bargain. Bargain was under 100. Now we've got to kind of play it as a game. That's Disney. Meta started to pull back last week. We had a nice little pullback on Meta last week to support level. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4. It didn't hold up. Like I said, the fourth time is not a good time to be in it. It's always the third. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam. So we could double bottom down here and be a strong buy right around 480. That's where I'm going to set my alert for right now. What the hell is this? I'm going to set, well, no, I'm going to set it down here. 482.90. Just to get me, just in case we pull back and have a 1, 2, 3 down here and then bounce back up. This is a good looking stock. This is ready to be traded. So we got to keep a close eye on Meta Monday. This gets close. I added RDDT Reddit last week. We're at a definite support level on Reddit right now. We could have a reversal back to $55. We're right now sitting at 48. Keep a good eye on Reddit. If we hold 46.79, we're still in the game. We got an inverse head and shoulders. We hit the right shoulder, we bounce up, we pull back, and then we boom. Like I said, we pull back a little, hit the right shoulder, bounce up, pull back, boom. It's not a straight ticket to the upside unless news comes out. TSM, I'm bullish on TSM. We definitely had a correction on this stock. This thing could be a nice trade at 125. I'd load the boat. Right now it's consolidating. It is part of the scramble of AI, and it is undervalued compared to all the other nitwits like NVIDIA. Mister is another overvalued stock. I'm talking $438 all the way to almost $2,000 in less than 3 or 4 months. Are you kidding me? Hello? Hello? But right now we're at the 200, which in my eyes, as a technical analyst, that is a solid support. But hello, we're still way overvalued. So any good knife on this trade is a buy. You got to watch it with Bitcoin. Bitcoin ready to break out, then this stock will run off the 200. If we keep going down, I'd be looking real strong down here in the gap and trade it off that gap. I really would. I'd love it to catch it down there off that gap. But right now you're at a solid support. Hello, I'm overbought. Boeing. Bad news after bad news after bad news. But everybody's watching this Boeing. This is their stock. So I'm going to tell you what resistance we need to break and what we need to hold. And I think for right now, we just got to continue holding the 179.04. And we got the 200 SMA for right now for a pivot point for your support level with a holding strong buy, a hold at 179. And then if we find resistance, it'll be 196.90 or $200. no higher than 2. That's going to be the number to break. 196, 197 to 200, and the 186 to hold this week. They'll be talking about it. They're trying to lighten it up. They want people to invest in it. They don't want people to worry. No worry. And Adobe. What a great trade was Adobe. Now, this has turned into a flag. Jimmy's liking this a lot to squeeze this coming week. I think if we build support, I mean, what do we got here? It's the 1 hour. That's Boeing. I want Adobe. If we build support above the 63 on the 1 hour, I mean 1 day of support, we'll run up and hit the 200. This is Adobe. That's at 526. Now, you know, the earnings, 3-day rule, it pulled back, and so it's creating a flag here. It's going to squeeze this week. And if we gain respect above the 63 EMA on the 1 hour on a day, we'll definitely run up and hit the 200. A no-brainer. If not, we'll come back down and try to find some kind of support down here. You know, I'm thinking a little under $500. Actually, maybe $490, but under 5. It's one to watch. We got Netflix. Definitely pulled back last week. We are starting to get disrespected. The 200, what I called out. This was my trade that I thought would bounce off the 200 last week, but it did not. So it's on watch because it's had such a good pullback, and any pullback from here I think would be a strong buy. Again, you know, I was wrong the first time off the 200, but damn, man, right down here, 593, I like that spot a lot. If it decides to pull on back, what did I say? Right there. 593.47. But there's a couple good spots in here. So we just have to kind of watch this one. This one I was wrong about. So I'm definitely going to watch it. It's had a good pullback. Maybe a couple more good pullbacks, and then end of a week bounce back to the upside. It's really getting to a very critical support level. And we pull back down here, this could be a very strong buy. 593.50. SMCI, man, I've been hitting this every time I want to trade this. I do good. So let's clean this up. Let's go back to the 20-day 1 hour. We're definitely bearish. We're under the 200 now. So we don't become bullish until we break the 200. This can easily pull back down and hit a solid support this week and retest this. I like this spot. This is a nice looking chart. Yeah, I like this a lot. Yeah, if this holds right here come Monday, 977, man, I love this chart a lot. SMCI. We could bounce back up and create some kind of flag here. And there's your 3 resistance levels, the 200, that one there, and that one right there. This is all in the 1 hour, so it doesn't become bullish until we break the 200. And if we pull back to this inverse head and shoulders, God, I love this chart. I can't wait to see how this plays out come Monday. SMCI. This is a beautiful chart. I mean, it could even freak you out. Fake you out. No, man, this is really solid. I like this a lot. Definitely SMCI. It wants to pull back, but when it does, boom. fast. And Lily, nice breakout Friday. We definitely called the pullback on this one here. I'd like to see it come back and hit the 200 and then maybe take the trade and have a look at it then. Right now I don't want to take it. I'd have to see it pull back some. That or break resistance. A run up here and hit resistance again. I could take it off that. I could take that trade. Run it up to resistance. 788.65. And I can take it off to 200. Or it can hold the 63. I mean, it's not that bad of a looking chart. We're at support. Any pullback could run it back up and find resistance and break. I like this one too. Lulu, the last one, we called this one out last week. I just said watch it. I didn't trade it. We're still a little bearish on it. We do have a falling wedge. This is Lulu. It took a pretty good shock. If you look at the weekly time frame on this one here, I mean, it's a good spot. We're definitely at a good spot. I like where we are. It can easily, man, if it come down here and hit this 200, I'd load the boat. I'd go very long in this trade. For right now, you got to use the 63 on the weekly as a resistance line and try to guess where the bottom is. And I'm going to try to give you my guess. And you might agree with me. We got a 1, 2, 3 right here. And that solid support would be no lower than 174.25 in that area. Now, it could be lower. That's a rough area, but I mean, yeah. What did I say? 174.65? 174.64. Fuck, there's a gap right here, too. So this could be the support level. This is interesting. Lulu is. So we got to still keep Lulu on watch this week. But we definitely found a gap here. Support. I probably didn't see that, or I'd have said it Friday. That's a nice support. That really is. This is the weekly time frame. I mean, look. You got an ascending triangle breakout. You got resistance for almost a half a year. It found support off that old resistance. Yeah, I think we got a solid support. 386.61. I'm going to move this up. Well, no, I can't. I'm going to be watching Lulu Monday. I think I'd make a day trade or a scalp out of this one. Pretty sure I could. That's it for the watch list. Kind of just tells you where we're standing. We've had some pullbacks and some breakouts, and we got a couple good nice setups, I think, this coming week. And we're starting fresh. That's the most important thing. The psychology of starting off with a new month after a 3-day holiday. Everybody's all energized, ready to make mistakes. I think we'll come out here with low volume and then start picking it up once people start getting the mood of the market. But I think it'll be in a positive situation. And that's it. This is Washboardjim, Retail Traders, Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where I try to talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. Have a great day.